Today I want to share my everyday makeup routine. So I want to go over the products that I use and the steps that I take in order to get a makeup look that not only looks good on camera, but most importantly looks good in real life. In my experience the last couple years of filming and shooting pictures, things that look flawless on camera don't really look that great in real life, and they're a little bit too heavy for me personally for everyday wear. So I've found something that's kind of a happy medium and allows me to feel good when I'm editing my videos, but also not have to change it drastically for every day in real life. So let's get started. So I like to start things off with my base products, and I like to keep things light for day to day. I like how it feels better on my skin, and it's also easier to work with. I like applying things with my hands, and lighter formulations, like kind of lightweight formulas like foundations and then also tinted moisturizers are my favorite. So I'll go in with something like that and kind of blend it in everywhere. My skin gets really red anytime I touch it, so I will apply it all with my fingers, kind of pressing it in to get rid of the redness, and then I let it sit for a little bit. So while I'm letting the redness kind of calm down, I like to go in and do my eyebrows, and I like to use either an eyeshadow or a pencil. Pencil is probably the thing that I come back to the most because it's really easy, and I love that it has a spoolie on the end of it, so it's kind of a one and done. I don't have to worry about finding an extra spoolie or a brush. But if I am going to use an eyeshadow, I like to go for something in a similar tone, kind of neutral, a little bit ashy, and I find that it's light enough to not allow things to feel too heavy, but still kind of give some shape and definition. And I like to blend everything out with my hands, kind of smushing it in place and keeping everything exactly where I want, and then blending out any lines that are too sharp. So when I kind of step back, I like for it to look like there's nothing there, but it's got enough of a shape. So then from there, I like to go in with a little bit of eyeshadow, and I like things that kind of shape it and give a little bit of shading, but nothing that I have to worry about smearing or smudging. So when I go for really dark colors, especially if I want something that's going to be really smoky, I really have to go in with an eye primer. And I've got a little bit of a trick that I can share because I've figured it out after trying so many different things. You want to apply a loose powder or a pressed powder, whatever you have, on your bare eyelid. Then you go in with your primer, kind of let that sit a little bit, then go back in with a very, very light dusting of powder, and then apply your eyeshadow. This is a trick that I learned from my wedding, and my makeup stayed put the entire time, even though it was hot that day and I have oily eyelids anyway. And then the shape of my eye makes it really hard for darker shadows to stay put. But if you do that, it works every time. But for day to day, I like to do something that I don't have to really think about. So kind of light to mid-tone browns, and specifically something that's a little bit more neutral. When I did my color analysis, I was told that I'm definitely right in the middle and I'm neutral in my skin tone, and finding things that aren't too cool or too warm is definitely a nuance, and it's a lot of fun to experiment, but it can get really frustrating with eyeshadows because a lot of them are really warm. So finding these neutrally browns has been a process, but now that I have a couple, I really love using them and I love the final effect that they give. Next, I like to apply some eyeliner, and I like to do it up on the waterline and try to get as close to the lashes as possible. And then when I get to the edges, I kind of extend it just a tiny bit, and then I'll pull it up with my finger and clean everything up afterwards. I go in with a concealer and I kind of neutralize any additional redness that's still there, and then really get that clean line. I also like that when I can take a little bit of concealer and go on the edges, I can brighten up my whole face, and instead of having to go in with multiple products, I find that the concealer can really shape everything out, so I don't have to be super careful about any of the other steps, because concealer is almost like an eraser, and I like using it like that because it makes it a lot easier for me. And that's especially helpful because I get so red, and I'm able to kind of knock back that redness really quickly, so I don't have to sit there and wait for my face to kind of calm down before I can move on. I can just use the concealer and neutralize that redness, so I can get a real clear understanding of where I want to go in with any other products and make sure that I'm not adding red on top of red. And again, 9 times out of 10, I use my fingers for this because I get a lot of control and I can really press things in and blend them in with my skin and make sure that they're really melting the way that I want them to. So then I like to apply some lip balm, and then I curl my lashes before going in with mascara. And I like to use either a volumizing mascara or kind of a slightly more natural but still lengthening and volumizing version. I have two that I really love. I wore the Dior store on my wedding day, and then because it photographs really, really well. And then for more of like a day-to-day look, the Chanel mascara is one of my favorites and something that I've repurchased, I think, the most in my entire makeup collection. I really love it because it doesn't irritate my eyes. It separates and lengthens my lashes, gives them a really great definition, and it lasts all day and it doesn't smudge on me. Then I like to go on to blush, and I'll either choose something rosy or something more nude. And for every day, I like that kind of perfect balance, a tiny bit rosy, but mostly nude, and something that blends really well and goes perfectly with whatever lip product I'm gonna wear. So for more often than not lately, I've been doing kind of like a nudie lip liner and then a nuder lipstick. So I'm gonna go for a nude blush today. But I also have some rosier ones, and I can show you the rosier lip combos at the end as well. And I like to take whatever product I'm using on my lips and then blend it onto my cheeks as well. And it creates such a really nice cohesive look and brings everything together in such a beautiful way. So I'm gonna share a couple of those in just a second. And unless I'm really going for that sculpted look and I want my cheeks to be super defined, maybe for like a picture or something, I've done that a couple times and I really love it. For that, I'll go for a traditional contour powder, something really neutral, and I apply it right into the hollows of my cheeks. Or I'll go in with a bronzer, and I've got a couple kind of really neutral tone bronzers that I've tried, and one that I'm using right now is really, really great because you can apply it everywhere and it's not too orange, and it doesn't compete too much with the other colors. And so if you're neutral or you're olivey like I am and you don't want to go too warm, it's a really, really good one. So for this type of everyday look, the only thing left is lips, and I like to keep it a little bit nude. I've been starting to wear lip liner more, and specifically kind of put it all over my lip and really create a nice base. It lasts a lot longer and it wears off really well. So specifically if I'm shooting or if I'm filming and I don't have to worry about it, this is perfect. And I don't have to kind of touch up in between anything. So it's really low maintenance for me in that regard. And then I'll do a lip color, and I'll either do the creamy cheek product that I used before because it's the same color and it ties it all together, or I'll use a very similar lip color. And I've been really loving this one at the moment. It's a beautiful formula and nice and matte, so it looks really good on camera, and then also again lasts a long time. So I don't have to worry about it, and I don't have to worry about halfway through talking that things are going to be moving around and not looking the way that I want them to. So this is what it looks like when it's all done, and keeping in those nude colors. It looks really good on camera, but also, and more importantly, it looks good in real life. In my experience the last couple years shooting and filming videos, things look really different on camera than they do in real life. And if you want your makeup to look flawless on camera, it's gonna look really obvious in real life and maybe not something that you're comfortable wearing. So I know that's definitely the case for me. And it's more important that I like to feel good while I'm wearing my makeup rather than I look flawless and airbrushed on camera. So this is a nice happy medium for me. And then also, like I mentioned, I can swap this out for a rosy color instead. So if I didn't want it to be nude, I could do something a little bit rosier, and I would tie that in with the cheek color as well. So I'm gonna swap this out real quick and show you what that looks like. And then also I can do like some swatches so you can see them next to each other. They're all really similar tones, but the difference is subtle but still impactful. So if I'm wearing a lot of lighter colors, like I like to wear off-white and beigey colors, I like to go for the rosier colors in that sense because that kind of brings more energy back into my face. But if I'm wearing black, and if I'm wearing navy, or if I'm wearing kind of like a dark gray or charcoal color, this nude combination is perfect and something that I think complements it perfectly and something I feel really good wearing. So I'm gonna link everything in the description box down below in case you're curious for anything or you think some of these colors might work for you. It's been some trial and error, but I'm really happy with all of these, and they give me a really consistent look, and they're really comfortable to wear, and like I said, they look great in real life. So they're very effortless and low maintenance. So I'm gonna put all of that in the description box, and like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a great day.